Hi there, Chris from Intentional. Man, I'm feeling this challenge 8 days in, and particularly today, each Thursday, I want to kind of change tact and just share a little bit about some of my strengths and just how I work or try to work in those strengths that might be able to help some of you out there spend time in your strengths too. And the strength that I'm going to talk about today is actually one of the reasons why getting up and doing this video again today is a bit of a challenge for me. And I think before I get into that strength, I'd just share a little bit around, I guess, my work career, and maybe it relates to where you are right now, or a position where you've been in as well. And I think when you work in more corporate style, particularly early in your career, there's I guess the tendency, or look, maybe it's changed, but when I was going through grad programs and initial stages of building my career, there's very much a template for what a good employee looks like. And a lot of your, I guess, performance reviews, PDPs are focused in on how do we develop you in the things that you might not be as strong in. And so you spend a lot of time on training programs and on resources and L&D things that are all about increasing your performances in your weaknesses rather than celebrating your strengths. It's one of the things I love working at Intentional, and just love working with our team, is being able to release them to work in their strengths. A way in which we do that is through a recruitment platform, Brilliant Fit, which really identifies where people, even before they start with us, where they're naturally going to be a best fit for. Yes, there's roles, but there's particular types of tasks within those roles. Another one I've used over the years, which I've found really helpful, is being the Gallup Strength Finder. And the first strength I wanted to talk today about was ideation. So conveniently, or maybe naturally for me, and why I love my job, is that I'm really great at coming up with ideas. I can do that on the fly. I can do that with little bits of information, and the next strength I'll share next week is it really helps build upon my ideation. If you are an ideator, it's one of the top roles recommended, is to get into marketing or advertising or journalism or content, a field where you're paid for your ideas. So it's a really natural fit for me, and it's a great place to be. It means that I can spend time coming up with ideas, but thinking about things maybe not straight out of the box. The downsides of that, though, it means that I'm not great at process, hence why I love my business partner, Adam. I'm not good at systemizing things, and that's been a challenge for me in growing what I do and onboarding staff within my team, and something that I've got to work on. But it also means that I set big, ambitious goals, like I'm going to do a 100-day creative challenge. I'm going to share some more on this. I won't get into too much detail, but one of the reasons I did this so publicly is that for a couple of years now, I've felt like I've had ideas. You may have seen a few of my blog posts, a few random videos that I shared over the journey, but I've realized one of the small tricks for me in being a great ideator, but a very high weakness in implementing. So it's a bad combination in terms of, well, it's not a bad combination, it's a good combination for my job, because we implement ideas with clients, and we've got a whole team of implementers, so I can afford to come up with the ideas, but it does mean that where I need to be hitting goals or following through, I can be a bit lackluster. So one of the small tricks I've learned with myself is taking my ideas public. And by taking my ideas public, it means now it's actually playing in another one of my strengths, in terms of having that connection with people and maximizing relationships. And so part of that is having integrity in what I say I do, I actually want to do. And so one of the tricks for me then as an ideator is to come out and announce big, audacious goals. And then, not that anyone out here, or maybe you can, keep me accountable, but it means like today when I just got back from an event that I had you might hear, not 100% bit snuffly, had to sleep in, missed my create time this morning. As I said, I'm not perfect, just finished an event. Lots of other ideas going through my head of things that I want to share about. I am tired. It means I go, oh, maybe I could share 2 posts tomorrow. No one really engaged with the post yesterday anyway, so who's really going to know if So here I am. I wanted to share around ideation. ultimately, the aim of sharing each of these Thursdays is to talk about strengths and work out how you can spend more time in your strengths. It's been the biggest thing for me to unlock in my personal development as I've grown with Intentional. It's why I believe our agency is so successful, is that Adam and I are split into our strengths. We're not trying to fight against each other in the areas that we are weak, and it means that we can play in that area. And the other thing I've learnt is, yes, you might have strengths, but there is a converse to them. And it's not necessarily about trying to work and fix that weakness because it just feels like a grind. But how can you trick yourself into forming back to a strength? So the one for me for ideation, and maybe this is the same for others out there, make it a really public goal and then you feel like you need it, keep going for it. So that's my thought for the day. I hope that adds value for someone out there. Love to talk to you about how you can play more in your strengths, or even around the Gallup Strength Finder. I think it's $20 US. It's a great, great tool. Highly recommend it.